guys, day 69 of the 100 Days of LeetCode. We got problem number 118. It's Pascal's triangle. Let's do it. So we're given an integer number of rows, num rows. Return the first num rows of Pascal's triangle. In Pascal's triangle, each number is the sum of the two numbers directly above it as shown. So first we have basically we can think of it as a list of length 1, then a list of length 2, then a list of length 3, 4, 5, whatever, however many num rows we have. Okay, and you can see this animation. I mean, I could explain it to you, but it looks pretty easy to understand just based off what that animation is doing, right? So it's just adding the numbers in the two cells above it, and that's how you get the number in the cell beneath it. And then we want to return this as a list of lists. Okay, so we're going to be doing Java. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to declare a list of integers. We can call that returned list, and it's going to be a new list of array list of integers. Okay, and at the bottom of this, we're going to return returned list. Okay, pretty easy, right? So far. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a new list, and we're basically just going to call it, we can call it list above, right? And I know it's going to make sense in a sec, but it's going to be a list of integers. Actually, we'll make an array list of integers. We'll just declare it like that. Oops. List above, and it's a new list, it's new array list of integers. And list above, we're going to add 1 to it. Okay, and the reason why we're adding 1 to it is because this one list, we always start with a 1 in it. Okay, and we're also going to see that we're never going to have num rows of 0, so we're not going to have to worry about any sort of edge cases where we don't return anything in the list. So yeah, we're always going to have this first list above with 1 in it, and yeah, so that's why we're adding 1. Okay, now what we want to do is we want to add this list to the returned list, right? Because that's going to be the first list of the list that we return. And now we're going to start a loop, and we're going to say for int I equals 1, I is less than num rows plus plus I. The reason why we're starting at 1, of course, is because we've already got the 0th index out of the way, right? So we want to start at the first index of sort of this new list. All right, so now it's time. I'm going to write a helper function. You don't have to do a helper function. You can just write it all in the for loop, but I find it's a little bit easier just to visualize like that. And we're going to call it public void because it returns nothing, and we're going to say get new row. And it's going to take a list of integers, and this one is going to be the new list, we can call it. And then we're also going to take a list of integers. This one's going to be the list above. Okay, so in the new list, we're always going to add 1 from the beginning, right? Because any new list that we have is always going to start at 1 on the left-hand side. And then what we're going to do is we're going to say for int I equals 1, I is less than list above dot size plus plus I. We're going to do new list dot add list above dot get I plus list above dot get I minus 1. I'll explain this in a second, and then we're going to say new list dot add 1 at the end. Okay, so what are we doing here? Well, we're creating a for loop, basically starting at index 1, right? Because we already have index 0. Okay, that's going to be the number on the left-hand side of our list. That's always index 0. That's always 1. And then we're going to basically add the number at the ith index. So say if we're here, right? This would be our second index of this list right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to get the number of the ith index. So that would be, this is index 1, right? We're going to get index 1 from the list above it, and then index 1 minus 1 from the list above it as well. Okay, we're going to add those two numbers together, and that's going to be sort of the number at the new list there. Now, this new list dot add 1 at the end is basically just to sort of just kind of like this, right? We always end the list with a 1 at the other side. Okay, so that's why we have to do that. Okay, so we've written this helper function. That's perfect. We're going to basically go back to this loop up here. We're going to create an array list of integers. We're going to call this new list just to keep it, very easy to see that we're going to be passing it into this function. And we're going to say that's a new array list of integers. Then we're going to call get new row with new list as the new list parameter, and then list above as the list above parameter. And then we're going to say returned. I've noticed a boo-boo, by the way. This is returned list, not return list. Returned list, we want to add the new list. And then we're going to switch the pointer here, right? Our new list above becomes our old new list, right? Because basically we're moving down the row, okay? And then I've already written return list, so we should be good just to submit our code. I have attempted to submit too soon. Okay, it's weird. List is abstract. Okay, so now we figured it out. Basically, we need to say list integer equals new array list integer. Okay, sorry about that. There we go. So that's how we solved that problem. If you guys enjoyed that video, we'll be back tomorrow for day 70. Like, subscribe. Peace.